So these two guys, I don't even know how to spell this guy's name, say this guy's name. I've written it a million times. Calhoun, I can say. Personal growth as a result of bereavement. So new possibilities. We change how we interact with other people. We have an increased inner strength, increased personal power. We have a greater appreciation of life, and there's a change in the way we see the world, our worldview. This, it's post-traumatic growth, PTG, there we go, post-traumatic growth. This is, has come about in the last 8-ish years. And this is kind of the twist. Remember when the positive psychology guy showed up at the American Psychological Association and said, we're not going to talk about people being broken now this year while I'm the president. We're going to talk about how they're well. Change the whole thing. This is changing the whole thing. Other benefits of this, people are more compassionate with themselves and with others. They have a deeper sense of self and more appreciation of their own lives. And then there's this. This is the new frontier. This is the cutting edge. I suspect this model, this training, this protocol is going to be something that is around for many of us within the next 5 years. So I'm going to preface this by saying, remember the world was flat once. People were absolutely sure the world was flat. Shared death experiences were written about in 2009 by Dr. Moody. We're going to go back to our legacy. He started with near-death experiences, and now he's moved to shared death experiences. Shared death experiences are otherworldly or spiritual experiences that happen when you are sitting at the bedside with somebody who is dying, and you have an experience where you travel outside your body. It is much like a near-death experience. As he has researched these, he's found a lot of similarities. As my buddy who's doing this work in California, he has found similarities as well. People come up and out of their body. They have an area they go to that it's up. People will feel like the room changes. So if what was that cartoon, Roger Rabbit, where the room changed? It's that kind of experience. You're sitting in a square room and suddenly the room does this. Or you look up to the corner of the room and it shifts and light starts pouring into the room. And people think, I'm crazy, what is happening to me? And other people go with it, and other people do both of those. Lots of people didn't talk about this because you don't want to be crazy. And it's happening, and it's happening a lot. And when I talk about this now, I have people come up to me afterwards and say, yeah, that happened to me. I was talking to, I had a woman in my office 2 weeks ago, and I said, I met Dr. Moody, this is his new thing, and she put her hand on me, and she said, I had one. And she closed her eyes, and she said, I put my hand on my mother, and we floated. And we went up and we stepped off on a landing. And she said there were so many people there. People my mother knew, people I knew. She said there were probably about 50. She didn't see her father, was a little concerned she didn't see her father. And about that time, the sea of people parted. So she's standing with her mother, and on down yonder was the father. She said she expected them to run to each other. It had been a very long time since they'd seen each other, and it was all her mother had talked about was being reunited with her father. They did a slow walk to each other and embraced. And then the woman was back in her body. She said she opened her eyes. She had tears running down her face. She looked at her mother, said my mother's eyes were saucers, and my mother had tears running down her face. Dr. Moody says, that's what he was talking about a couple weeks ago, we hear from the scientific community who says that near-death experiences aren't real, that these things are imaginings of the brain. Then why is it that people at the bedside who are not sick, who are not on drugs, have the same experiences? He wrote a book in 2009. that I thought I had in here. Wait, because somebody's going to ask me. Glimpses of Eternity, Sharing a Loved One's Passage from This Life to the Next. It's a really intriguing book. He talks about whole families having experiences and then able to talk with each other about it. So sharedcrossings.com, University of Santa Barbara has they're working with a family therapy group and doing a protocol with somebody who's dying, has terminal illness, and then training for the family. And they talk about the trajectory of the dying experience, and they talk about meditation that can happen towards the end, and what people can do to be calm and in the moment, and possibly facilitate these kind of experiences. They just got a $250,000 grant to study this. They've been doing it for a year. This is going to be part of our culture, part of our vernacular, probably not for 20 years, but it's going to be a regular thing in about 20 years. I think, maybe sooner than that.